April 12th, 2010. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, show 87.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go!
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
Welcome back to Diehard Gamer Radio. I am...
What was that? It's like somebody just punched you while you were doing that.
Well,
like you just whipped something
you
bad.
changed the you changed the volume on my monitor here, so...
Oh yeah, we got headphones. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, welcome back to Diehard Gamer Radio. I am Murdock, and with me is Brian, the bearded one, Steve, the bearded one, and John, the not-so-bearded one.
See, I'm just making you mono, is all.
You're giving me mono? What are you doing to
I'm
me?
making you mono.
Oh, okay.
In a test tube to be given to you later.
It's just the progression of the beard as you go around the table.
Oh, okay. All right. So any news or any personal things that you want to get off your chest before we actually start this podcast?
Is this like, the share hour or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, tell me about your feelings, Steve.
No.
Well, thank you
that's
for
working
listening
out great,
to Diehard Gamer Radio.
That's working out great, Dr. Drew.
Dr. Drew, I'm not asking Steve about his sex life.
No, he's all about drugs now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, in fact, I heard a
Is
thing on
Adam
the radio.
Carolla part of that as well?
No, Adam Carolla made that show. I don't care what anybody said. Dr. Drew needed a guy to play Straight Man 4. And when he doesn't have that, he's really boring.
He needs that counterpart that plays off it and keeps the humor and keeps
Yeah.
people
He's just
interested,
the
because
guy
otherwise
who's
it's
like-
just
in
droll.
therapy, he's just the straight man for all of the fucked up people in therapy.
Exactly. Except they're not as funny as Adam Carolla is. So
There was some art or something on the radio on the way over here I heard too, where he came out publicly and said Lindsay Lohan's going to have a huge blowout. She doesn't see it coming. It's just going to smack her in the face. And then they had like a retort from Lindsay Lohan that says, he's an old man, needs to shut up or shut the fuck up or something. Exactly kind
Just
of thing you'd
further
expect
sign
from...
she's unstable.
Yeah.
Why-
Yeah. You know what it was? Is he said if I was her parent, I would break the law to stop her. And then she had a retort.
I was wondering why he would even bother to come out and say it. Like, it's like, oh, by the way, Sarah Palin is a Republican. Just in case you didn't know.
Wait. Slow down there. Now what? All right. So let's start with the news here. Super Street Fighter 4 will be coming to arcades. In other news, Japan obviously has a thriving arcade industry.
Or an
What?
arcade.
Well, yeah, there's one. It's in a subway station
It's the size of
somewhere.
Sendai. But
Why are arcades still surviving in Japan?
That's a very good question.
for that question, answer that question, we'll go to John Stossel. Wait. We don't have roaming reporters.
We don't
Shit.
do research.
Now we'll never know.
Centralized population, large cities, probably.
We have those too.
Yeah, but
I think it's just the underground culture. It's one of those things that's Japan just doesn't let go of. They just those kind of people always show up at the arcades.
In terms of population density, it kind of goes Japan and then New York City and then London.
Mhm.
So, Japan's like, you look at the population density, it's like twice both of those. But New York City and London are about the same, and they still get the shaft in terms of that sort of thing. So
maybe it's the amount of Japanese that's in Japan.
maybe we don't cultivate our hikikomori enough.
Well, how can you cultivate them?
Well, the hikikomori aren't going to go out to the arcade, though.
At night, when there's no one else going.
I see a flaw in your plan, Steve.
No, you just need 24-hour arcades.
Well,
It's not like it was back in the day of hackers.
When was that? That was when, what's her name? When Angelina Jolie had smaller lips.
And everything else, yeah.
Because if we had an arcade here in the U.S., they'd be able to go, about 7 o'clock on a Friday night and be the only people there.
Yeah.
So
well, these
obviously
days,
not working
Yeah.
out.
That's
why I
what-
turned my old arcade into a nightclub at the time.
That's without getting shot. Those of us who went to Smiley's know of that story.
I still haven't been shot there. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying I've been pretty lucky so far. The key is to keep that back door open and keep your car in sight. And have a backup, have a wingman that's watching, while you're playing, because
I'm not
you just
saying
don't go in there
it's not
alone.
Gonna happen. I'm just saying that I got a good streak going.
Yeah.
So next up, Heavy Rain getting a Move update, which is that PlayStation motion controller. So
I didn't know it used it to start with.
Well, it doesn't. There's going to be a automatic update, like in the fall, to use it once this thing.
Is that
comes
really
out.
a game that's going to benefit from that at all?
Yeah, now instead of moving your thumbsticks in arbitrary patterns to cause actions to appear on screen, you can wave pom-poms around in arbitrary patterns to control things on screen.
Bugs Bunny, sis boom ba. What the hell? Did I miss something? What does this do for this game?
Encourages tendon damage.
Oh, okay. So it's heavy sprain.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know what it actually does either. So no new games for Game Room until late April, which is awesome if you wanted to play classic arcade games on your Xbox. Well,
does Game Room actually work yet? Because I was told and informed that it's about as good as a normal arcade, in that the games may or may not work.
You are correct.
Well, then it's authentic.
Yeah, I know. It's the most authentic arcade experience ever.
Working and authentic are two different things.
Yep.
How do you even get into Game Room?
I don't know.
I think you get onto Live, and then you have to do something through that. Because when I first got onto Live, way back when I got my PS3, you would go in, you would walk your guy around, and certain buildings had arcades where you could go get on
Live, though. Yeah,
there's
it's not like Home.
Or Home, sorry, not Live. When you go into
but
Home,
it's on the 360, not on the PS3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know where that is. I mean,
well, there's your problem.
I mean,
in that case, I don't know.
I was just flipping through libraries trying to figure out how to make that USB movie thing work. I didn't see it. So maybe I wasn't looking for it, and that's why I didn't see it. But
has it gone live, or is it still being beta tested?
No,
because we got the update and we got the USB drive support. Yep. That was on April 6th.
Yep.
Why are they hiding it?
Yeah.
What are they afraid of?
Maybe it's not out yet.
Maybe
apparently
it got
we
pushed
should
back.
do research.
I remember reading all the different articles from Kotaku saying it's Game Room and it's broken. Is what it said.
Huh. Yeah.
So it's out.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they announced it in grand fashion.
Yeah, just
totally
like the second
unmissable.
episode of Penny Arcade.
It's the same guys.
Yeah.
So next,
they did whatchamacallit? They did sort of in twittering type things. They Tycho did confirm that basically they were having issues with the studio. I mean, he didn't really say it, but like it's implied by the various tweets that they were having some sort of problem with the studio, and they couldn't get any other studio to agree to the same terms.
Huh.
So,
bummer.
Yeah.
So, iPhone gets an online gaming network. It's called the Game Center. It's a social gaming network. The ability to invite and track friends, matchmaking, leaderboards, and achievements.
They can call them achievements. They have to license that name from Xbox.
I don't think that's registered, is it?
I don't know.
Is it?
I would point out it's telling that Sony called them something else.
Trophies.
Yes.
And Steam called them something else.
Indeed.
Well, they're pretty much just achievements on Steam too. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's the same
but
difference.
They didn't name them though.
They could just call them achievements.
Well, yes. And they cost you a little bit more.
They're selfish
already
achievements.
trademarked that one. So. It is interesting that Apple finally admitted that people play games on the iPhone.
Yeah.
Well, and Steve Jobs also admitted that there's better porn on the Android. So.
Well, I know what system I'm going to.
Competitor endorsement. I don't know,
I know
what it is.
He's like, well, there's a porn store on the Android, and we're like, really? Because I suddenly need to go shopping.
So next, and this is just a rumor, Capcom versus SNK 3 might be coming out soon, which would interest you, Brian, and it would interest me.
Might be.
The game was hot shit back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah, the game is
It's kind of dated.
So how solid is this
Still fun
rumor,
to
or is
play,
this
though.
somebody just like picking franchise they like and sticking sequel plus
It's
one on
fairly
it?
solid because the same guy who broke this Capcom versus SNK 3 announcement was the one about 3-4 months ago who said, "Oh, by the way, here's all the hidden characters in Super Street Fighter 4," and got them all right before Capcom even announced it.
Somebody's leading a double life, huh?
Someone on the inside,
Just haven't
perhaps.
found him yet.
Yeah, he actually, what had happened was that he had all that Super Street Fighter 4 information and tried to post it on the Shoryuken forums, and they're like, "Yeah, get out of here, you spammer! What the fuck are you doing?" And then
Now they're like, oh, please come back.
no, he came back and posted this Capcom versus SNK 3 and got banned.
Wow. Those guys are a bunch of yo-yos.
And watch him be right on this one too.
I would laugh my ass off.
Oh man.
Shoryuken's really a tight community. They're like anal tight.
More anal than. Yeah, the fighting game community is kind of weird.
It is. It's not like, and then it's different from the shmup community. It's different from NeoGeo.com. I mean, they're all different in their own way, but Shoryuken's always been kind of, I don't know, they've been a little too anal. I don't like their forum that much myself. I go there and read stuff once in a while, but I don't post on there.
You should go to the Mega Tokyo forums.
Oh, God.
Forums.
Leave it to anime fans.
Just Mega Tokyo fans.
Just
I want to point out once again, because I've been butthurt about this ever since that I got kick banned off of a Pound Mega Tokyo for saying that Spike died in like 2001.
Yeah, if you haven't seen
and the
series,
butthurt continues.
I got a spoiler kick ban for that.
That's excellent. So,
Hey, by the way, Minmay sings in her her appearance on Macross there.
Never show your face again.
That sounds like an IRC forum. It needs to get posted, that spoiler t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
so next up, Star Trek Online console ports canceled, which is kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised on that because they were actually working on a console port.
Yeah,
They've
well,
got a
it's-
quote here that says they had it running and then decided no.
Yeah, it's like, what? So you spent all that development money and then decided not to do it after all.
Now,
Once again, we can't get a goddamn MMO on a console.
now, Brian and Steve, you've both played Star Trek Online.
Yeah.
Is that something that would work on a console?
Not easily, actually. Problem is there's lots of WASD fighting going on.
If you could install the keyboard on there, yeah, sure.
You'd have to really change
Plug
the
that bad
interface
boy
with it.
in.
To work as is, you would have to really change the interface. Now, they may have gotten around to actually making that interface usable on a console, but we'll never know.
Well, they'd have to do like John was saying, where you make the circular guide, where you just go in and in and in, where it kind of breaks down.
Well, the problem is when you're actually doing the when you're doing, when you're fighting in the, actually doing the ship-to-ship combat, you have to hit so many different presets all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you're constant. I mean, I had 3 bars of presets, and it wasn't enough
Yeah.
to hit all the things that I
Agreed.
wanted to hit. So I don't know if that would really. But once again, we'll never know. So,
Would that be it? Would that have been something you would be interested in? A console?
no, I wouldn't buy it at the
Well,
same time. So.
Yeah, not after playing on the PC. You wouldn't drop down.
But why buy it again?
Yeah, that too.
I've
Plus, we're
played
already
them,
paying for a monthly subscription, so
By the way, speaking about buying games, are any of you going to buy StarCraft 2?
possibly.
I don't know.
I'm trying to get Damien to give me his beta because he's got it, but he doesn't use it because he's got a Mac. So I was like, "Hey, buddy."
Yeah, so he signed up for the beta thing and told him he has a Mac, and they sent him the Windows-only client.
That's awesome.
So that worked out well. But
Obviously
I don't know.
vetting those applications carefully.
Yeah, very well. Obviously, all those questions that they asked on it were obviously consulted very carefully. It'll depend on if the game itself is any different than StarCraft, and I'm thinking it's not going to be very different. Because really, they're not selling that to people in the U.S.
They're selling it to Korea.
To the Koreans,
Yeah.
who now have to not play video games for 8 hours a day.
That's true. They, was it some sort of, like after a certain time, they throttle their servers or something so that people...
they prevent them from from being on these MMOs for an 8-hour period from either 8 to 12.
It's like a
to
time
8,
lock.
or or 1 to 9 or 2 to 10, in order to the Ministry of Culture, and I'm not lying. It is the
Downtime
Ministry of
has been
Culture
imposed.
Wants you to make sure your kids study and get some sleep. So,
It's not the Ministry of Deculture.
What's interesting though.
No, it's in France.
So now you just have to quit your job and play all day.
Yeah, essentially. Well, they only really do it for people that are in school, apparently, the underagers. But interestingly enough, the Korean version of the Social Security number is required to play a lot of Korean MMOs. Like when you register, you have to use that. And to get around a lot of the limitations on age-related stuff, people will use their parents' one instead. And
There's always a loophole.
Yeah.
It's just a matter
So
of
like
time.
they've got some thing about they're going to focus on people who are using forged, what do they call them? Resident registry numbers. They're called.
How do they know they're forged?
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
They
if everybody
probably
just
get to
says
cooperate with the government, who probably has a database of them.
Well, this is it's the government that wants to do it, but
I mean, does every parent out there get a number, or do they have to go
everybody
register?
gets one. It's like your SSN.
Well, see, that makes me wonder, how do you tell if it's forged? I mean, somebody could just go to somebody else's parent's house, get their registry number,
The
and
rule that required that didn't make any sense either, because the rule that required it happened when Lineage 2 got hacked and a bunch of RRNs got stolen and are used for various forgery type things. And so they made it a law that you have to, when you play an MMO, you have to put in an RN.
That seems like an interesting response to that situation.
It's like, really? And the guy who's relating
We
this
will
whole
all
story
be
goes,
equal in having our numbers stolen.
The guy who put it in, he's like, don't ask me what the sense of this is. I don't know, and I don't think anyone else knows either.
they just want to look like they're doing something that's
well,
So
yeah,
are
for
there a bunch
public
of
safety.
forged ones for like international people who want to
Yeah.
play these games then?
Yeah. In order to play a Korean MMO that's based in Korea, you have to get one of these forged RRNs.
Huh.
That's just like the
Well,
most-
enjoy your grinding.
Well, yeah, or you could just buy the North American version of Lineage and
Enjoy your
it
grind.
sucking here in English.
Oh boy.
But if you play it in Hangul, you'll get the genuine.
The genuine grinding experience.
Maybe the grinding's much better in the original language. It's just
Playing it
it's just a
actually in-
poor translation.
If you actually play the Korean version, the FPSs go up by 15.
So next we have Konami remaking Russian Attack, called Russian Attack X Patriot, which looks a lot like Shadow Complex.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you know what you don't have in here?
What?
You don't have the bit about them redoing that fighting game that I can't remember now. Side-scroller thing.
Final Fight?
Yeah. They're like with the big guy who's the mayor who's cleaning.
Yeah,
up the-
Hagar.
Yeah, Hagar.
Yeah.
There's a thing that got sent to somebody, and there was an article on Kotaku 2 days ago or so where they sent them this whole remake press kit of it and had like a Hagar for mayor button in it. And all sorts of things.
That's kind of
Like
awesome.
viral campaigning.
Yeah. So yeah.
But see, then you'd be playing Final Fight.
Well, or the
And it-
A new Final Fight.
Well, it's not really new. It's the same Final Fight from like 15, 20 years ago. They didn't really up the graphics or anything.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
Final Fight.
I'm uncertain whether. Or
If I want to play Final Fight, I'll plug it into my Sega CD.
Yeah, it better be like HD or something. I mean, what's the point?
yeah, it'll be in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do you see like Hagar's arms swinging out of the screen when he spins?
So, yeah, you can see those oil cans filled with the little turkeys in 3D.
If they're gonna do 3D, they need to do it for the turtles, where you get the rotoscoping or the Mode 7 scaling, where you're
Yeah.
grabbing things and
Oh,
throwing the
Turtles in
enemies at the
Time.
screen, and they'd slide down right in front of you.
Throw the foot soldiers at the
Yeah.
screen.
That'd be
Don't we
kind of
just
cool.
need that one time travel?
Turtles in Time.
No, it was in the arcade. That was that 3D time travel one. That was
It's called
all-
Time Traveler. It's on the Sega.
Oh,
You're
was
talking
that part
about
of the holographic
yeah, the
series?
holographic one.
The one that had like the almost it kind of looked like freestanding holograms game.
Yeah.
It was like a little squat.
Because did
thing,
they have
and you
like
only
Time
had, like,
Fighters or something that was a fighting game?
Hollow Fight.
Yeah.
Holocene was it? Oh, that was a bad game.
I actually saw the first time I've seen an actual TV commercial for a 3D TV, like a couple days ago.
Yeah, I saw one too a couple
And I
days
was
ago.
like, so right now you can have a 32-inch TV and you can all look like morons in your living room.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna look like a moron, you might as well do it with your family.
Well,
You all feel
I can't
equal, you
argue
know.
with that.
You're a family of morons.
But
Maybe they'll come back. Everybody will just start wearing those 3D glasses around.
just all the time.
It's gonna be like Back to the Future 3. Yeah.
so back to the topic, Russian Attack. They took the hardest NES game next to Golgo 13.
Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking hard too.
It's just old school. It's not hard.
Really now. Okay.
Video gamers these days are so soft.
I got it easy.
We had one button to dodge everything. Now
Yeah.
they've got 10.
What the hell do you need 10 buttons for? That's 10 too many.
It's like people don't even appreciate a quarter anymore. I don't need this quarter. I can't even play one game with this quarter.
No, it'd be
So-
back in their days. They had to swipe the card through Dave and Buster's to play a game.
Or Boardwalk.
Yeah, Boardwalk USA.
We didn't have those.
I'd be glad. They didn't
Yeah.
last that long.
Once again, Dave and Buster's most retarded system ever for arcade. It's like, $10 gets me 7.25 credits.
It's more messed up than 360 is, basically. They're better than they're worse than Microsoft. And
Oh,
Well, they just have the crazy sliding scale to encourage you to spend more money.
yep.
Oh, we had that with tokens too, though. If you bought like $20 worth of tokens, you got like 4 extra tokens.
So it's a solid time-worn business
Yes.
plan then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're smart, you go there when you're hungry. That way you can get the meal and the extra $15 worth of
Well, I don't know
game
if you're
change.
Yeah, because like their extra $10 game card thing you get is kind of crappy and isn't half as good a deal as buying the special supercharged $50 card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next
All
up,
those great games you can't play because there's no games.
One way or another, there's no possible way you can spend every credit on that card.
Well,
You're going to
no.
get screwed somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, you're
It's
gonna have
guaranteed.
left over.
It's like buying on the PlayStation
It's like
Network.
when you end up with the last 3 tickets. Can't even buy a pencil eraser with those 3 tickets.
There you go, kid. Don't spend them all in one place.
memories of Celebrity Sports Center are coming into my mind here. So next up, we have Microsoft points now being sold in more reasonable batches.
Oh, I totally read that as bitches.
Oh, hey,
More reasonable bitches. No one can complain with that.
no.
So,
So
I mean,
they're-
the
Jumps in the front, hose in the
They're
back.
just selling
and-
these now in the same as the retail quantities now.
Well, if you buy the points online, they start at $5 increments.
Yeah, it's now 400, 1800, or 400, 800, 1600, the same as when you bought the cards at the store.
Yeah.
Oh, so they just basically lined up their online.
They just
and
made it consistent
retail
between retail and online.
selling thing
Yeah,
strata.
yeah.
I
Well, it was a big, bold move.
Whatever happened to that paying with real money thing?
see. Went away because fake spucks are better.
Banana dollars.
Yeah.
Ameros.
So next,
And I don't know. As bad as the 360 system is, though, after recently going through the process of buying something on the PS3,
Oh, God. I know. You don't know what you're doing half the time. You don't know if it's worked even when you've done it right.
well, it's just like that retarded Penny Arcade commercial. I didn't realize or Penny Arcade comic, how accurate it was. When it's like, okay, put your money in the bucket. Can I have you put some money in the bucket? Yeah, I'm going to take some money out of this bucket and use it to buy this thing. Do you want to do that? Yes. Sure, you get to buy it in the right increments, but fuck, could they have made it any harder?
Yeah.
It is kind of dilapidated.
It's like enforced object-oriented buying.
It's
you
almost like
can
communist
only-
buying.
You can only use your wallets using the proper accessor class.
It's fairly fast with the credit card processing, though. That's a nice side. When it bounces off your card for just those increments, it goes really quickly that way. It's just the whole
Yeah,
process
but I
to
can
get
buy
up to that
something
point.
off Amazon faster.
Well, especially with that prepay phrase thing now, too. Goes like really fast.
so next, Kojima predicts the end of the console, which is awesome. If only he would work on,
No,
say,
this makes this makes total sense because his games are slowly, more quickly, turning into movies. And so he's basically just saying,
He's
I want you
ideally
to stream
positioned.
my movie.
Yeah, he really should be working on Zone of the Enders 3, I might add.
Yes, obviously.
But in... What was that about?
I bent my Wookiee.
Oh. Steve had a injury here.
I bent my Wookiee.
Well, fill out the paperwork and we'll get it over to Diehard Gamer Radio Human Resources.
Yeah. Oh, it's too bad you were fired just before that happened. Paperwork just hadn't gotten to your desk yet.
Yeah. So, yeah, great way to watch movies.
I think Kojima just doesn't want to make games anymore, and he's desperately trying to get himself out of the industry.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then why would he become like chief creative director of a new studio?
because he controls everything he does.
But he's not even like the boss of the company. He's just the chief creative director. That's like
I think he must just have real debts laying around.
maybe.
Gambled away all his money, and now they just keep roping him back into making another Metal Gear.
You know,
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back
I
in.
could see that. He keeps going out to the what's that? Keeps going to Macau. Comes back. He doesn't have any money left. I need to make a new Metal Gear.
Oh, Konami.
One night in Hong Kong, and makes a hard man humble.
Konami probably has like his daughter locked away in his closet somewhere. It's like, yeah, Metal Gear Rising, yeah. If you want to see your daughter again, you'll get right on that. Oh, and make sure to add commercial endorsements to the new Metal Gear.
Seems possible. Also, we want no more than 3 user interactions.
That's not inaccurate.
Unless
That's just his attempt to sabotage the process and free his daughter.
I want a game about Superman, and I want him to fight a giant spider,
Yeah,
and he can't fly, and I don't want to see his cape.
They can see his insides.
Yeah.
Little plexiglass thing.
So, next up, excessive video game playing equals teeth falling out, and this is from a
It's not
New
the
York-
video game playing, it's all the fucking Mountain Dew they're drinking while they're sitting there playing the video games.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're going to say, like, video games make you fat.
Yeah.
Or they make you pee a lot and keep it in bottles next to your
Yeah.
game
something.
console.
I mean, I don't know. It's,
So basically, while you're playing video games, the cavity creeps will be coming along.
Yep. Way back, holes and teeth.
Way back, holes in teeth.
So now we're going to need a new disclaimer on the front of every Nintendo game
Yes.
before the epilepsy warning.
Yep.
Please make sure you do the following between your game playing sessions.
Is that going to replace
Brush.
the gold seal?
And do some jumping jacks.
Have you done those? Okay, yeah, let's play some games.
The Wii will make you do jumping jacks.
Well, the way the console gaming is going, that's probably going to happen with the Natal
And the move.
and the Move. So,
I like to move it. I like the. You know that's gonna be like their theme song. You're gonna be
gonna hate
popping
that.
commercials out with that.
I'm going to hate that so much.
It's only a
Okay.
matter of
Hate it now
time.
when
all
it
right,
isn't even
all right,
the thing
listeners. Brian called it. So, all right. Next up, Nintendo announces Pokemon Black and Pokemon White. The comment I have is that the games are reportedly separate but equal. So,
So they're going to sell 3 Pokemon Blacks in Japan then?
I don't understand the point of these games.
Possibly 4 going into the Christmas season.
Are you supposed to buy them both? Is that what the deal is?
well,
They just want you to buy more than one game, so they just rename
the way
them.
Pokemon works is that they come out with 2 versions of every game, and each version has different Pokemon. So you can't collect all the Pokemon with just one version of the game. You have to have both.
Woefully
Or
lacking
you
my
can
knowledge of
trade
Pokemon,
with
apparently.
somebody else who has the other one if you're not an obsessive hikikomori who just hides in your basement and plays all the way through both versions.
It's communist communal activity. They force you to.
Socialist fake
Yeah,
animals.
they force you to get with the community and share.
Send you to the Pokemon gulag.
Yeah.
I did see Lennon with the Pokeball. I mean, there's a comic in there somewhere.
Lenin with the Pokeball. I don't know. It's hard to do anything with Russia right now because I've been reading through the 11 and a half years of bullshit Penny Arcade book. And they've got that great, 6-page long version of Paint the Line.
Uh-huh.
And it's so good. It's got like, she's raised in a Soviet gulag from the age of 4, using the part of the ping pong team known as Lenin's Daughters. And then she has to fight the two muscle bound guys at the end, and their special move is the People's Hand. It's great. From that, whenever I think of Russia right now, Soviet Russia, I just think of Paint the Line.
You just think of ping pong.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can believe that Putin would one day decide that they need the best ping pong
They do.
team.
They do. It's Medyev's job.
Hoki doki, arajoki.
Yep, pretty much.
All right.
It's under a big W.
Okay. So, last for our news, this is for Brian. Gran Turismo 5, its release date, 9/24/10. So, how much money do we want to put that it's actually going to come out on the 24th?
He wants to move it.
I don't know what the fuck that controller's gonna do for it, but I'm all for it. If it brings that damn game out faster.
Oh, Gran Turismo for the Move? That would suck.
I can't think of anything.
Well, you just,
annoying
clip
than-
your Move controllers into the plastic steering wheel.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the new concept Mercedes? It's the SL. I think it's the SL 300
SLS.
or SS 300.
SLS.
SLS. Okay.
The SLS
That
AMG.
with a stick. Did you see the
GT3.
stick drive? You haven't seen that one? I'll have to send you the email for it. They have a new.
You know, this is a
the
really
different
lousy
concepts,
version of car talk.
The steering
About
wheel
that
is a it's like a yoke in the center with a Y and a grip.
Oh, okay, so this isn't the one that they put on the cover.
No, this is a total different one. But the interesting thing is you can drive it right-handed or left-handed, so it's like one model fits all. But it's just a stick in the middle that drives the entire car, and then there's a console in the center in front of that. The only backwards part of the design is if you're driving with a stick, it's awkward to have to reach over to the center to touch the console. But they had to make the console centralized because if you're right or left-handed, you've got to be able to reach all the same buttons.
That's why they call it a concept car.
Yeah.
Except I think Honda already solved that one, back in a concept car where the steering wheel literally unclipped and moved from one side to the other.
Well, it's just a concept, but it was very pretty looking. I will say that.
Concept cars often are.
I'm very curious to see just how sensitive that stick is to drive versus having a wheel. Because I think it's just we're probably 20 years away from it, but I think wheels are going to become outdated at some point.
Just go into the options of the car and change it.
Forever away from it, because getting grandma to switch to a stick as opposed to a steering wheel is a never proposition.
Well, grandmas are going to be the ones driving the last generation of cars. It's going to be the ones that start buying this generation that goes forward.
They're all going to be in their Chrysler New Yorkers.
Yeah, taking out everybody in their car.
So any more car stuff we want to cover?
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
All right. So we have Care or Don't Care, Lost Planet 2, Beneath the Ice.
Didn't this already come out?
That's what
No, it
the
comes out like
subtitle
the
is gonna
20.
be?
Yes.
Beneath the Ice.
Like the first one.
Are you interested enough to get the second one?
Yes.
I gotta go back and finish the first
Think
one.
about that one for a second.
I seriously thought this game was already out, but
Well, they did
They
they did
pro-
like a demo a long ways back.
Yeah.
But they also did, I think, with the first one.
It's almost like a beta test in a way, the way they demo stuff, because they don't put the game out for like another, 9 months to a year after the demo comes out. It seems like it takes a long time.
I don't know why they did that with Lost Planet, but yeah, way early demo release. We're super early.
All right. Crisis 2.
This game is the shit on the PC.
Well,
just come
can your
right out and say
PC
it.
run it?
My PC runs it like a pro.
All right.
That was one of the reasons I upgraded all my stuff.
Does
To
it
be able to run
have
games
anything
like
to
this.
distinguish it from any other first-person shooter besides being pretty?
The system for it is pretty cool. The concept of the game, the way you can utilize the armor that you have on your body armor changes, and you can utilize it for different purposes. It was like one of the first games that did that, if I remember correctly, as far as the original Crisis 2 did. But I like the system, the way it works, because it works with one of those setups with like the circular choices.
Right.
Where you choose that way, and the hotkeys seem to work pretty well. You just got to set it up correctly the first time around. So you got to get comfortable in the way you set up the hotkeys so they can use them on the fly a little bit better. But the game's really pretty. I think
So you care about Crysis? Does anyone?
Well,
else
I don't care about it on like a console, but on the PC, it's really sweet.
And I'm assuming this game will not be coming out on an Amiga 500, so I can't run it.
You need at least an NVIDIA 260 or better.
And how much money did you spend in order to get this game to work?
Oh, the video card I use is only about $200 at its lowest. I mean, they run about $200 to $250, but it's a nice
Which
card.
is only about 3 times more than the average person spends on
Yeah.
a video card. And once
But
again,
this
we have
wasn't-
the brilliant business model of making a game that can only be run by people who are perfectly capable of stealing your game.
I didn't buy my video card solely for this game. I mean, I've got a ton of other games that I play on it, but it's nice to have a system that runs the game.
Well, I'm sure Bejeweled runs really well with your video card now.
I wouldn't know. I don't play Bejeweled on my PC. That's what my iPhone's for.
There's supposed to be version 4.0 of the software for the iPhone now?
Oh, I don't think that's coming out till this summer,
Okay.
from what I was reading. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of cool updates and a lot of cross-platform stuff where you can, or cross-application where you can have 2 or 3 things running at the same time and they don't interfere with one another. So
They're going to have funky multitasking, which is kind of multitasking depending on what application it is.
That's awesome.
So Apple decided that they didn't like that Android was gaining market share and decided to cobble together everything that they hadn't done before.
They're basically opening up new APIs for developers is what it is. And it's really funny watching the zeitgeist of the Apple zealots going from, well, we don't want multitasking because we only do one thing at a time anyway and it'll waste our battery, to multitasking is awesome. Isn't it great that Apple's doing it? I mean, it's like this wave that's washing over the internet.
Well,
and
it's
all
the
through that
shockwave
article,
off
they
the
were talking
RDF.
about how all these things are going to work well and save power.
Right.
That kept coming up
Right.
about, yeah, we're going to be able to do this and save power to the battery. So
Basically, the only thing
It's-
I've heard so far that was anything interesting is that you can, instead of just running the iPod in the background, you can
Yeah.
run Pandora in the background.
Exactly.
That's been the big thing that people keep mentioning over and over and over and over again. It's so much so that I think Pandora is paying somebody to work because I actually saw a thing that mentioned that Pandora will run in the background in the iPhone 4.0 update and won't run in the background in the Windows Mobile 7 version. I'm like, how is this not an advertisement in every way, shape, or form?
Well, Microsoft, they just announced today, in fact, I was reading on my phone, that they're going to release their own phones this summer here and then later this year in Europe. So they're going to be running
Well, that's
Windows
the
7
Mobile 7.
on their own.
That's the
Yeah.
Mobile 7 stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
So-
well, it's Windows Phone, I think is what they're calling
Right,
it.
but it's running.
Yeah.
Which is the one with the porn?
That'd be Android had the porn phone,
Okay.
It's kind of aptly named, really.
had the porn store.
The Android should be the one to have it.
It should be mentioned that I don't know what the hell Steve Jobs was talking about, but the fact that he said that it was as opposed to the iPhone really makes you think, maybe I need to be checking out the Android.
Maybe he's got one in his second pocket.
Yeah, he's got big pockets.
He does. I mean, come on, with the iPad and everything.
Yeah, he's got to fit his iPad in his pocket.
You know, I've seen like 3 commercials for that, and I still don't understand the usefulness of it. I'm like, I want to be excited about this, but it just serves no fucking clue for me. I mean, no purpose.
We took the awesome, small, all-in-one device,
Yeah.
and we made it bigger and do less.
Yeah. And,
but it looks pretty because it's bigger.
well, the thing I saw about it too is it's surprisingly heavy. Is the thing I keep seeing.
It's like 1.5 pounds or something like
what
that.
did you expect?
When else in the history of technology has a device gotten less functional and bigger in the later
Yeah.
generations?
Well, you know,
They're missing the form factor concept here.
Reality
They're going the
distortion
opposite
field.
direction.
reality distortion field.
All right.
What did they start with? Did they actually start with the concept of a Wacom, and then go
Well,
and then
slate
start adding all
computers-
this shit? Or
Slate computers are nothing new. They've existed for.
well,
many
yeah, but
years
what?
now.
Why
Well,
would they incorporate that, or did they start with it, or what?
No, I think they took and they said we want. There's been rumors about an Apple tablet slate for like 10 years now.
And they were one of the only ones that haven't done something like that, right?
Well, they did the Newton.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
That was like the mid-90s.
Well, I'm trying to find some logical, move to something that from point A to point B that drew them
What
into
they
the
wanted
iPad.
to be able to make my opinion on it is they wanted to be able to sell netbooks without cannibalizing the rest of the Apple line.
Right. They didn't want people to buy a netbook instead of a 13-inch MacBook. And so they gave you something that is not as useful as a 13-inch MacBook, but costs almost as much.
Yeah, doesn't fill the void, but man.
Well, I mean, there's no surprise that once you get, Apple's very clever about their pricing structures. Because when you get towards the high end of one line, you start bumping into the higher end of the line. And so you go, well, but if I just pay $200 much more, I can get the Pro line.
Yeah.
And it's essentially what they've
It's the same
done
with
the
cameras.
iPod. If you get up to the, if you get up to the top end iPod or iPad, it's like $800. But if you pay $200 more, you can get a 15-inch MacBook.
Whereas in the PC space, you just go out and buy your $400 netbook, and maybe you don't even need that desktop anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're like, well, why would I want to buy my iMac? And then you're,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the new.
Although I probably wouldn't use just my netbook. That sounds like a nightmare.
So coming soon from Apple, the return of the Apple Lisa. So watch out for that.
Given that the most demanding thing I run for 90% of my workday is either Vim or a web browser.
It's just the form factor is just a little bit too small for me to do like anything extensively for a long period of time. And I have small hands.
I don't know. I got it's the 10.1 inch, and that was.
I have to see measure what my little PC is.
It was just big enough on the keyboard that I didn't scream in pain on the thing. It was big enough. Full size keyboard layout worked.
The keyboard layout is okay. It's just too small for me to sit and do things for a long period of time.
They need a netbook where you pop the screen open and then you grab the middle and those fold out, and that gives you your full-size keyboard.
There was
IBM did a butterfly
did do
keyboard.
Yeah.
It's a ThinkPad where you open it up and the keyboard was overlapped over itself, and you spread it apart, and it went into like this curved keyboard thing. That was in the 92, 93.
That was one of those like sci-fi kind of keyboards, yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But IBM's always done good keyboards. Then they went and sold their laptop business.
Yeah.
Now they don't
Lenovo.
make good keyboards.
Yeah. Now Lenovo makes things that are called ThinkPads but aren't nearly as good as they used to be.
Yep. So next up, in other words, Brian cares about Crisis 2. Let's move on.
What we're talking about?
Yeah.
It has been said.
So the 3D, the new 3D Splatterhouse.
That looks freaking awesome. I hope it's finished and done.
This is one that my comment is like The Last Planet 2. Didn't this come out like 3 years ago?
No, not yet.
No, well, they had a company that was doing it, was almost done with it, and then they canned them. And I don't know why. They stopped. They took it away from them, gave it to another company, and now it looks like it's finally getting done. But this was like a year ago, though.
Yeah.
Screwing up Splatterhouse? How do you screw up Splatterhouse?
It looked cool with the first company that did it. I mean, it really was looking like it was going to be fun. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll pick this up again because this looks like it's, changed enough and still the same.
And an added bonus is that it does come with the first 3 Splatterhouse games on it.
Well, God, how much room does that take, I'm just happy they found the original code.
They probably didn't. It's probably just a ROM image they downloaded.
Yeah, exactly.
So next, Halo Reach. Does anyone care about Halo Reach?
Is that an FPS?
Yes.
Yeah, we can't tell anymore because they had that one RTS one too, didn't they? It was like a massive RTS.
Yeah, Halo something or other.
Yeah, I can't remember it either.
Whatever.
So no one cares. Ghost Recon Future Soldier. Does anyone play the Ghost Recon?
I'm kind of looking forward to this. You know what? Steam had a free download over the weekend for Modern Warfare 4. And you got to demo.
4?
Yeah, you got to demo it and play it, and you had the whole
No,
weekend.
it was Modern Warfare 2.
I'm sorry, not 4, 2. And it's so many freaking FPSs out there. I've lost track. But the point is, it was actually a lot of fun to play, and it really did give that kind of like Rainbow Six SWAT feel. If you had multiple friends playing together, you could form a team. And if Ghost Recon is anything like that, because the first Ghost Recon that came out way back in the day was an awesome game. It had some major bugs to it, but it was really a well-done game.
So is this first person or third person?
I don't know. The second one had an option where you could switch back and forth between them, so I don't know what. I haven't read much about the new one.
Do you play the Ghost Recon games, John?
I tried to play Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter for half an hour once.
How'd that work out for you?
I stopped.
Well, thanks for that.
but he tried.
Steve, any love for these games?
No.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. So, last for Care or Don't Care, UFC 2010 Undisputed.
Wow, sweaty man humping.
You know, that would work great with the PlayStation Move. Just get your sweaty ball punching in.
You just punch the Move controller?
You could. It is ball-shaped.
I don't know. I might enjoy it if I got to play it and see how it played. But I'm not
never
enticed to go out and pick it up. But if I
never
tried it
figured
someplace,
you as into like the wrestling.
well, certain sports
UFC
games are
game.
fun. NHL 10 is actually
Well,
a lot of fun.
UFC's kind of, sort of.
These are
is that
getting
really
these
a
games
sport?
are these games are getting better though. They're getting better. They're getting programmed better. They're bringing more big names into it now because it's been accepted, and they're trying to get the UFC out there more. So the games are doing better.
The table was vibrating. And,
What's more sportsmanlike though than putting two people in an arena and having them punch each other until they bleed? I mean, that's like classic sports.
is there something you want to share, Steve?
He's right.
Yeah. Did that involve sweaty ball punching too? He's looking at me like, yes. Okay. Yeah. So, anything else we want to add to the podcast on that note?
Got Hokuto no Ken in the mail.
Oh, have you played it?
It's a lot of fun. You know, it's kind of nice because it's not, even though they classify it as a Muso game, it's not really a Muso game.
So it's not
It's
repetitive as all hell?
Yeah, it's not. They actually have a lot of breaks in it.
How
and
long have you played it for?
I've put probably 4 hours into it,
Okay.
maybe 3 or 4. But I mean, it follows the same storyline as the original one did on the PS1. So I've gotten up to Jaggy and I beat him, and now I'm going on the next area. But I mean, it's not half as repetitive as a Muso game is, and you don't find maybe 1/10 as near as many enemies so far. I mean, maybe farther on down the road when you get more powered up, they give you more guys, but it doesn't seem like it's been half as bad as I expected it to be, and it's actually been a lot of fun.
Oh, okay.
So
Shocking.
yeah, and the moves are pretty basic, and they offer a little bit of flexibility, so you can do different combinations and things. But there's a lot of in-between things you can do. When you beat a boss, you get a certain amount of points for. As you go through the game, you break vending machines and you throw guys into buildings and fences, and they give you points for that. Extra
Have you
points.
played as different characters yet?
Yeah, you actually can play as Ray, and I can't remember the woman's name, but that's after Chapter 3 when you unlock Ray, and you go through his part to help him get his girlfriend. Then you can go back, and that's cool too. You can actually go back to prior levels and play as those 3 characters. So it offers a lot of flexibility and replayability ability there too. So it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
And how violent is it?
Heads explode, right?
One of the coolest things about it is it's kind of weird because it's the Japanese version. It's not when things explode, they explode in blue because God forbid they show a lot of blood. They still do show some blood in the game, but the best part of the game is about every other boss you get the target cam, and it tells you up on the screen the target cam's on. So when you kill the boss and you go through the final blow and the 100 crack fist or whatever you do to him, you get to see it through the boss's eyes, and then you see like blood explode on your eye on one side and on the other, and then you fall over, and the rest of your body goes, and you're seeing it through the enemy's eyes. So that's kind of a fun little twist, but it's a good game. I don't know if it's. I'm kind of curious to see what it's going to be like with the European version coming out because I haven't translated it all yet either, so I don't know what all this stuff means and what it all does or how you benefit from it totally.
There's not much to Fist of the North Star.
This one, they added a lot of little things to it. There's little in-between things, gauges, and extra moves that you add on as you go and as you unlock. So there's replayability, and you actually have to go back to prior levels when you get good enough because there's certain sections that are secret where you see the 7-star the little dipper sign on the wall, and you know that you have to achieve that many points in the level to break that wall and then find whatever you find. So there's extra little hidden bonuses here and there. But,
Cool. So I'll check that out this weekend. here.
Bakadon bought his from Play Asia, so you might buy it from them. And the reason is he got a little business card holder that's got it on it. He was like, look at this. I got this for free. This is awesome.
I'm not in any hurry to pick up Fist of the North Star. It's not high on my priority list. I'll just,
I picked it up. I wasn't super excited at first, but then I saw the videos and I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And then I thought about it. I'm like, the last 2 or 3 Fist of the North Star games that came out got sold really fast, and now they're, impossible to find. Like the fighting game, I can't find that anywhere, man. It's expensive. And when it does pop up, they want big bucks for it. So I'm kicking myself for not picking a copy of that up.
And this Fist of the North Star game sold like 500,000 already. So.
Yeah, it's so fast. So this is probably guaranteed another print run, hopefully, but... some of the it's hit and miss with some of these though, and they make small print runs, and you're screwed. You can't find one forever, and then you pay twice as much to get your hands on one. So I don't know.
So at least Brian has an interest in Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, what's your slackers' problems?
Steve's waiting to plug in Fable again to see how rich he is.
I might pay attention if they come out with a U.S. version.
Well, the European one's going to be in complete English, and since it's on PS3, it won't matter. You can just get that one.
Well, won't it matter because it'll be a different... Won't it be like PAL?
It doesn't matter on the PS3. It's universal.
No,
besides, we're in the age
of
of high definition now.
Well,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
1080p.
Yeah, the European versions are all interplayable too. I mean, there's no
region.
It's region free. It doesn't matter. PAL doesn't have it's like he was saying, PAL doesn't matter anymore as far as the PS3 goes.
I'm not sure how that works with Blu-ray, so.
I don't know about the movies,
Blu-ray
but
regions.
You can't play
there
Japanese.
Blu-ray regions.
Yeah, you can't play Japanese Blu-rays on an American system. I know that.
But I know they region lock the movies, but I guess you're saying they didn't region lock the games.
They did not region lock the games.
That's why I just bought the Japanese one, popped it in, bada bing, bada boom.
Well, I thought Japanese Blu-ray movies were the same region code as American ones. So
no, they're region 2. I think American's region...
Well, no, the DVD region was different, but I think the Blu-ray region is the same for Japan and America.
Oh, no,
because
that's a good
went
question.
down to only like 3 regions for Blu-ray.
That I don't know.
Huh. We'll have to look into that. We'll have to do research when Steve's not here.
All right, well, I guess that's it for Die Hard Gamer Radio. Join us again next time.
Thank you for listening to Die Hard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.